Okay, so the next thing that I want to do for this project is I want to set up a little drone. The reason why I want to create a drone is because when I play the game, I can't see like what's going on in other areas. So it would be cool if you had a sidekick drone that follows him everywhere. And if I press a button, then maybe the drone can the player can control the drone to see other areas, and then when they're done, the drone can come back and the player can control the main character. So before I do anything, I'm going to go into my models. I already created a folder with the model in it. So for the drone, I need to go to Rig, create avatar from this model, and apply. And I'm going to create an empty called drone. Set it to 0, 0, 0. Put my drone model in there. Parent it under the drone. And I'm going to temporarily this has to be 0, 0, 0 as well. So I'm going to temporarily move it out of the way. And I want to create, first I'll size it down because it's too big. It has to be much, much smaller. It's like a little tiny drone. And then I'm going to create a couple empties within called shoulder height, and another one called bird's eye height. So actually this has to be here. Move this whole thing back. So the shoulder height, closer to the player. So the shoulder height in the drone, I'll bring it roughly to the height of the player's shoulder. And for the bird's eye height, I'll bring it up maybe like this. So this is when it flies up to check out other areas. That way it can't be seen by enemy troops. So I'll have it up here somewhere for now. And then I need to create a script for, well, first of all, I'll create an animator. And we call drone animator. Open that up. Oops. Right click, create a state. I'm going to create a blend tree. Before I do that, my animation. If I go to animations here, I'll just show you what it looks like. That's what the drone looks like when it's animated. I need to make sure that it's the loop time is checked and hit apply. Double click the blend tree. I'm just going to create one motion field, and I'm going to drag that. So it's always going to be hovering. So in the drone, I want to add a component. Animator. drone animator, and the avatar has to be the drone default avatar that I just created. Okay, so in the scripts, I'm going to create a script called drone. Why is it taking so long? Okay, so go back to the editor. If it'll let me. Okay, I'm gonna click on drone, and I'm gonna drag and drop the drone script onto the drone, and to open up the script. So right away, I'm just going to go ahead and create some variables. So public game object shoulder height, public game object bird's eye height, public game object shoulder, let's put go to location, which is going to be part of the player, and I need some booleans. Actually, I need another public game object called geo, because I'm only going to be moving the geo from shoulder height to bird's eye height. And I need some booleans. Can move to bird's eye. Bool can move to shoulder. The bool can control, just set to false by default, and bool can toggle, which is set to false as well. So right away, I'm going to make it so that the object, the drone, not the FBX, not this default post, but the parent, is going to move to, so transform position equals vector 3 dot move towards transform dot position go to location dot transform dot position 500 F, I'll just put it 500 for now, times time dot delta time. Let's copy and paste this. Transform rotation equals quaternion transform location to the rotation of the go-to location. So that's about it. So I'm just going to compile this, and I want to hop back into the editor. Okay, under the main character, I'm going to create an empty. Called drone go to location. So the location would be just right here. So this will control where the drone goes in terms of where it is in relation to the player, but these two will determine the height off the ground. So with the drone selected, I have a bunch of fields here now. So shoulder height, I'm going to drop it in here. Bird's eye height, go to location, which is under the player, and then I'm also going to drop in the geometry. So if I play now, it's going to see what it looks like. Okay, so it's following me wherever I go, which is fine. Now I need to implement ways for it to toggle. So first I need to go into my inputs. So it's under main character input. And I'm going to create one called drone. And it's going to be a button. So this basically just toggles whether it's going to be whether the player is controlling the main character or the drone. So I'll just use the space bar because it's easy to access with the thumb while you're controlling the WSAD. So keyboard space, and I'm going to save that. And in the drone, I need to create player input. I'm going to hop back in the script and I'll just copy one of these. So I'll call it on toggle. If I need to think for a second. So when the context is performed, so before I do any more, I'm just going to go this up real quick. Before I do anything, I'm going to put this back to 0 just to keep it nice and tidy. So he's like right in the player's face. So with this selected, I'm going to make sure that behavior is set to invoke Unity events. and under events, player input UI. Oh, I forgot to drag and drop the script. So the script has to, no wait, I need to drag and drop the input here. And I need to open up this main character. Oh no, that's right. This one here, under, I'm using the main character mapping. I guess it doesn't really matter. But the drone that I just created, the button for the spacebar, it's here. So I'll press this. And here I drag the, move this down, move down. Open this up again. So I'll drag the drone script to here, and from here I'm going to go to the drone script and untoggle. So whenever the spacebar is pressed, it triggers this. The thing that I want to do is I want to create bool toggle input equals false. Actually, can toggle can be true. And I'll create another boolean called is bird's eye, and by default it's false. So toggle input is true if it's pressed. Toggle input equals false if the spacebar is not pressed. So in the update, if toggle input equals true and can toggle equals true, then immediately can toggle is set to false, and I need to do if is bird's eye equals true. So if bird's eye equals true and else if is bird's eye equals false. So if bird's eye is true, if he's in the sky, first I need to move to can move to go to location. So first of all, assuming that he's in the sky, if he's in the sky, then if can move to go to location equals true, then I'm going to do all this. I need to calculate some distances, so float distance to go to location, float distance to shoulder height, and float distance to bird's eye height. So I can get rid of this. So if the button is pressed, you can toggle this true, then the bird's eye is true, meaning that drone's up in the air. If can move to go to location is true, then he moves. I have to calculate distances, so let's find a distance script that I have somewhere else. Copy and paste it. So distance to go to location is from the position of the drone to can move to go to location, so distance to shoulder height is equal to vector 3 distance. Go to the shoulder height. So between the shoulder height location and the geolocation, because for those ones, for these two, I'm doing moving the geometry, not the entire object. So for this one, go to distance to bird's eye height is the distance between bird's eye height, and again the geo transform position. So if the drone is at bird's eye height, so let's just say it's off looking around somewhere, then first I needed to move back the entire drone to move back to the position by shoulder. After it reaches, if if distance to go to location is smaller or equal to, let's see, 0.5, then can move to shoulder. So can move to shoulder. Shoulder equals true else if distance to go to location is greater, then can move to shoulder is false. And if can move to shoulder equals true, then I want to change all these values to something smaller, like 10 for now. I can adjust it later. So if this is true, if it gets pretty close to that spot, then it can start moving down. Then the geo transform position, oops, the geo transform.rotation goes from the geo transform position and the geo transform rotation to the shoulder height. If distance to shoulder height is smaller or equal to 0.5, can toggle equals true again, because it's immediately set to false. Oops. And also is bird's eye is false. So this is if the button is pressed while the drone is hovering. If it's not hovering, then if distance to, what am I looking for? Distance to bird's eye height to bird's eye height let me think for a second. If bird's eye, oh, it's already there, sorry. If bird's eye is equal to false. So if can move to location, can move to shoulder. So if can move to bird's eye equals true. Also down here I'll say can move to bird's eye is set to true. Then geo transform position, go to the bird's height, bird's eye height, bird's eye height. If distance to bird's eye height is smaller, so it's going up, it's moving up, and as soon as it reaches smaller or equal to 0.5, then can toggle is equal to true, is bird's eye is equal to true, and can move to go to location is equal to true. Can move to go to location has to be set to false at some point, so can move to go to location I'll just leave that for now. I just want to see what happens. So if I compile and hit play, oh, he needs to be following the player around. This has to be happening if this is actually incorrect because I can't use can toggle because as soon as it's set to false, because it's in the update, none of this is going to happen. So I want to get rid of this. Get rid of that. So anything that says can toggle, I'm going to get rid of. So instead, what I'm going to do is toggle input is true. I'm going to do a separate piece of code here. If toggle input is true, toggle input is true if say float which action by default is equal to 1. So if which action is equal to 1, which action is equal to 2, else if which action is equal to 2, then which action is equal to 1. And this is where I'll use the can toggle. And can toggle equals true. Can toggle equals true. So instead of using if toggle input is true, I'm using if which action is equal to, this one I'll do 2. Else if which action is equal to 1. And actually here I'll put the what's the matter here? Which action equals this else if can toggle is equal to false right away, and then after all this is done, then can toggle equals true again. That way the player can't bang on the spacebar multiple times. So I'll compile that. play. Okay, it's still not working. I don't need this anymore. Actually, I also don't need this which action variable. So instead of using this which action, I can just say if bird's eye is true, is bird's eye equals true, then is bird's eye equals false, else if is bird's eye equals false, then is bird's eye equals true. You have to put an else if here. So I was creating all these extra booleans that I didn't need. So if bird's eye is true, it performs all this stuff. Then down here I have to put can toggle equals true. And same with the other situation. If bird's eye is false, and can toggle is true. Because as soon as the button is pressed, toggle input is true, then can toggle also checks if toggle input is true and can toggle is also true. Then can toggle must be set to false immediately, so that it's set to true again when everything is said and done. So I'm going to compile that, and I'm going to check this out. To remove one thing, I need to remove these. Is bird's eye true? I can't have it set to true. If bird's eye is false, does all this, then I had it setting to true. I can't have that, otherwise it's just going to go up and down. And I want to slow it down, maybe like 3. Let's try that again. If I play, so if I hit the space bar, goes up, and then if I press it again, it comes back down. But it doesn't, goes up, and it doesn't follow me anymore. But as soon as I press it again, you can see the shadow over here. It goes back to its position. Only problem is it's too high, so I can't see it. So maybe if I bring it down. So I can see it there. And if I press it again, it goes down and then to the shoulder area. So I'll try that once more. If I go way out here, so the only problem is right now I want to be able to control the drone, not the player. So another thing before I do that, can move to shoulder should be true by default. That way it's constantly, it should be constantly moving towards the player. So I'll just test that once more. So now, oh, it's still not following me. Why is it not following me? Can move to location. Oh, sorry, not this one. It's can move to location. Has to be true by default, because that's where it starts off. So if I play, still not following me. Can move to shoulder. Bird's eye. Try putting it here. Okay, so I finally figured it out. So I brought back the float which position. So if it's position 1, that means it's by its shoulder. If it's 2, that means it's up in the sky. So if the button is pressed and bird's eye view, just say is false, it gets set to true. And if it's true, if it's in bird's eye view, it goes down to the shoulder area. And which position is set to 1, as to where if the bird's eye view is false, meaning the drone is at the shoulder but the button is pressed, then it goes to the sky, and which position is set to 2. So as long as which position is set to 1, meaning if it's by its shoulder, then I can add this piece of code up here. If which position equals 1, then it constantly follows the player's go-to location as before. So now, because by default which location is 1, meaning it's on the shoulder, it's going to constantly follow the player around from the beginning. So right away, it's following the player around, but as soon as I hit the spacebar, it goes up in the sky, and it no longer follows the player around, which is exactly what I want. And if I press, just say I go way over here, and I press the spacebar again, it comes back down and starts following the player. And I can do it multiple times. Okay, so that's all I wanted to do for that. Now I need to change what is controlled. So first of all, in the main character, I have to create a boolean called can control, and I'm going to set it to true by default. So for any, I need to go through the entire script. For any input, actually I can just go to the bottom here and just say starting with this one, public void on move input. So for move input, actually I'll just go down the entire thing instead of using the input functions. I'll just go down here. If actually, for these ones where it says context performed, I'll say and can control equals true. So anything where it says context performed, I'll just copy and paste these. So these are buttons, as to where the mouse and the WSAD movement keys, that's a little bit different. So for the move input, this whole thing I want to say if, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'll try. If can control is true, then all this stuff can happen. In aim animations, anything that has to do with aim, same thing. If can control is true, then it reads my mouse input. I believe that's everything. I'm just going to go through it once more. So there's, let's see, crouching. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that for now. I want to trust that it works. For the drone, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do bool can control by default is equal to false, and it's only true if bird's eye view is true. Then the button is pressed, but it goes down to shoulder. Oh, sorry. The bird's eye view is false if it's at the shoulder, and it goes up into the sky. And once it reaches the sky, then that's when I can say can control equals true. It says the drone already has can control. Oh, I already have it here. Sorry. Can control is false. So when it's up in this by the shoulder, oh, sorry, when it's in the sky, can control is true. When it's by the as soon as the button is pressed and bird's eye is true at the very beginning, I don't want it to be controllable. Can control equals false. So if can control is false, I want to create a move function inside. So I want to say move I'm going to basically copy everything from the player. So I'll also get the move input. Drag and drop the variable. I'm literally going to copy and paste this entire thing because it does the exact same thing that I need. I need a whole bunch of, I can get rid of this. Use aiming. It's true. I don't need that. I don't need any of this stuff. So I need a camera rig. Public game object camera rig. I don't need this. I don't need this. Wait, I do need. need a character controller on my drone. Character controller. I'm going to make it very tiny. So height will be 0.1, radius will be 0.1, can't even see it, and I'll bring it up 0.5, oh sorry no, 0.05, shows maybe a little bit higher, 0.7. I'll just put it up, okay, 0.1. So you can barely see it. There's a circle right there. It's going to be very, very small. So I'm going to create a character controller, oops, called character controller. And at the start function, I'll say character controller equals get component character controller get current speed move input Y. I'll just put the main character. I have walk speed is 2, so I'll just say 2. Actually, I'll make it a little bit faster. I'll make it like 3. And I guess I also need this rotate. So move. Where's my rotate? Okay, so rotate. Camera rig Euler angles. Why is it not reading the Euler angles? Turn speed of my player is 5. So turn speed I'll just put 5. I don't know why my Euler angle isn't working. Get rid of all this. camera rig is serialized transform. It's not a game object, so paste that there. So everything looks good here. I'm going to compile this, and I'm going to quickly hop into the editor. And the drone. Before I forget, the camera rig I have to drop in, and under player input, main character, drone. So the move controls, I need to drag and drop drone script. And from here, mono script. I guess that's not it. Okay, this is very inconvenient. I can't reach it. Why is this not? Drone. Oops. Let's move up. Let's drag and drop it in here. There we go. So character, so drone on move. But the problem is, while the drone is moving, the player is moving as well, so I need the player to stop. So I need a way to set the you have to set the can control variable to false. So I'll just copy the enemy troop stuff. So using main character script, main character script, main character script variable, game object. Do I have a player game object? Nope. So player game object. Main character script equals player dot get component main character. So let's drop this into the update. So it's setting the script, the main character script here into this variable. So in this variable, with this variable, I can now say if bird's eye is false, then main character script dot can. First I need to make this a public rule so I can access it. Can control is equal to false. In this other situation, if the bird's eye is false and then it goes up to bird's eye view, then the player should not be able to be controlled, so it should be false here, but it should be true here. So if bird's eye is true, then it comes down and the player is controllable. So I'm going to compile that. Back in the editor, I need to select the drone and quickly drag the player into the player field, and then I'm going to hit play and cross my fingers. So the drone follows me around, but as soon as I press the button, the drone is spinning around, he's not moving. But the character's not moving while I press the buttons. But as soon as I press the button again, the spacebar, then I can control the player. Why is the drone not moving? The drone is not moving. Did I drag and drop the camera? That's alright. What if I do 10 for the speed and then move? Come on. Drone's following me around. I press the button. He's going nowhere. What is it about this character controller? I'm assuming it's the character controller. What do I have on my main character? Character control animator. Okay, I figured out why it wasn't working. The reason why, one of the reasons was because this was unchecked, the character controller, but another reason why is I got an error. It actually says down here, it'll come up here again. Let's see. Okay, so there's, if I stop it, yeah, this error right here, it says the step offset, which is right here, has to be less than the height and radius. The height plus radius. So the height plus radius is 0.1 plus 0.1, which is 0.2. But this 0.3 has to be smaller. So all I need to do is make it bigger. So let's just say I made the height. Let's make it 1. That means the center can be 0.5. So if I play now, I can move around, but if I press the space button, space bar, then I can move the drone around, which is great, and I press the space bar again, then it goes back to position. I can move the drone around, but the only problem is when the drone is, when I'm controlling the drone, the camera's not following it, so that's the last thing that I have to do in order to make this work. So all I'm going to do is, in the camera rig, I think I already have, okay, I have reference to player. So I need to create a reference to game object drone. So in order to know whether or not I'm following the player or the drone, I need a boolean. Bool drone is bird's eye. By default it's false, so if it's false, then if drone equals, drone is bird's eye equals false, actually instead of using drone is bird's eye, I'll say can control player. If can control player by default is true, then it's going to follow the player around, which is what I had originally. Else if can control player is false, the transform position of this drone, or this camera, is going to follow the drone. So, in order to see whether or not can control player is true, I'm going to do what I have in the drone script, where I'm using the main character script. And I have main character script variable at the top here. And in the update function, I'm setting the main character script to this variable that I created, so it's being stored in here. And the can control player is equal to, I don't have to have a default value because it's going to be constantly set from main character script dot can control. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope this works. So in the camera script, or the camera object, I think I need to drag and drop the drone. So if I hit play, so the drone's following me around, and if I press the space, I don't know why. Oh, it's colliding with that thing there. I gotta figure out a solution for that. But if I press the space bar again, so I'm just gonna okay, so I found a quick solution. So all I did, because there's no gravity acting on the character controller, I found that I could just move the controller up. So I made it smaller. It wasn't like this big long capsule. It was I made this small capsule, and I basically moved it into Y, and it's basically at the same level as the geometry of the drone. So if I just pull it out, the capsule's right there. So the capsule doesn't have to be hitting the floor apparently, because there's no gravity acting on it. So if I hit play, so if I press the spacebar at the drone, I can go over this, I can go over any object. So this is probably only good in outdoor levels. If I do any indoor levels, I'm either going to have to get rid of the drone, or I'm going to have to make the drone lower below like any sort of like ceiling in an indoor environment. But I'm quite happy with this. I would say that this is a success. So yeah, this is all I want to do for this video. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.